Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, recording. Samurai says number 7. We're going to put you in heaven. You're welcome, ladies. Now a little commercial before the show starts. Well, Chris, as I understand it, you are a proponent of the mesmeric arts.
That's right.
That is, you hypnotize, and you enjoy hypnotizing people. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, our sponsor, GamesContinuum.com. That's GameContinuum.com. Look, they need some hits, man. So how about hypnotizing the good people out there to go to their website and get themselves some swag?
Ethically, I'm not allowed to do that. You see, and it's also very difficult to hypnotize people into doing something they don't really want to do. Which is why I use it to get all the boontang.
Well, the good news is, Chris, we don't really need to hypnotize people to convince people to go to GameContinuum.com and pick themselves up some classic video game system accessories and games. Imports, hard to find, domestic games. They have a little bit of everything for the classic gamer there, Chris. And all at very reasonable prices. Sip needs to get his website up, I'll tell you that much. But when he does, it's going to be chock full, neck deep of video gaming goodness. So we don't need your hypnotism skills here, Chris.
Yeah.
No, Chris, no. Don't hypnotize me.
Yes.
No. Anyway, I have the unusual urge to cluck like a chicken, but I still want to play video games, so I'm going to go to GameContinuum.com right after we're done broadcasting, get myself some great video gaming goodness.
Yeah.
Chris, no more hypnotism, okay? Jeez.
Come back, you fat-bearded bitch!
Sorry.
Oops.
Wrong one. Let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Samurai Says. And now, a man who has MC Hammer's permission to touch whatever he damn well pleases, Joshua the Samurai! Thank you, Byron Bernard. Guy who sounds kind of like me, but not really, even though he is me. I don't know. Let's take the curtain up and just say it is me. It's frickin' me. Anyway.
Yeah, but you've been doing that voice for a long time.
That's true. I have. You have.
I
As
still
usual.
say I do it better. Byron Bernard, 7 foot tall Norwegian. Speaking of which,
I haven't introduced you, you son of a bitch.
That's okay.
As usual, at my side, the man who doesn't know when to fucking shut up for his own introduction, Chris Maverick.
How you guys doing?
Okay. What were you saying? Speaking
Anyway,
of what?
I had a 7 foot tall guy come into the other day.
Winning.
A 7 foot tall man walked into the store.
Yes. He walked in. I look up from whatever I'm doing at the counter, and there's this 7 foot tall guy. I'm like, holy hell. How tall are you? 7 foot.
Wow.
He didn't talk like Byron Bernard. Didn't have a beard either, but that's all right. He was a pretty cool guy.
Well,
He's
that's
like, I
cool.
get that a lot.
Just how tall? How's the weather up there?
Something like that. I'm like, yeah, you got in the door? He's like, yeah, I had to duck.
I had an interesting experience at work, Chris.
What was that?
For those of you that don't know, my day job is truck driving, and I had an interesting call. A gentleman that works for my company that will be unnamed flipped his truck over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At 10 a.m., I had to drive out there, 8-hour drive, to pick up this poor man and his cargo and get him home. Now,
Please tell me this was an epic cargo.
well, no, it was printing cylinders for Tic Tacs, but
That's no fun.
yeah, I mean, it should have been like defibrillators for the heart clinic or something, or stuffed animals for the burn ward for the children. You know, I don't know.
An entire shipment of dildos.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't take that one. That was a friend of mine. But the most awesome thing I ever hauled was a speaker cable for Metallica.
All right.
And I remember putting on Facebook that day, I never thought I'd be able to say this in my entire life, but Metallica is depending on me. But no, I've had to pick this dude up, and the funny thing is when I got there, I had run out of hours. I couldn't drive anymore. So I had to trust the man who had not slept in 2 days, who just helped me load a truck.
With the cargo that he lost because he flipped his own truck.
Yes. And not only that, I had to sleep in the back, and you know what? Somehow I slept soundly. And he's
Resigned to your fate.
Yeah, I was resigned that if he flips this thing, I'm going to break my neck anyway. The passenger seat in my truck is not like a seat. It is just like it's basically like a lawn chair bolted to the floor, because, most trucks don't have passengers. Unless they're like DOT inspectors and they're having you pull over or something, This was just...
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
Let's save that one for the fight.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, let's save that one for later. No, it's just so basically with the way that my truck rides, which it rides something like a dump truck with bad shocks. It's basically it's the equivalent of riding a mechanical bull sitting in that passenger seat.
Okay.
And sleeping in the back isn't much better because basically I have a thin mattress on a toolbox. But somehow I survived that. I'm here, and the guy was nice. He plays bass in the band. I asked him if he had a song we wanted to play for the outro, and he goes, "No, we haven't been together for a while." And it's like, all right. Band broke up. He became a trucker. So
at least he's willing to admit it.
That's big of him, But
most guys from failed bands take up drinking and whoring. Honorable professions.
He took up truck driving, which is only slightly less reputable than those other two things you mentioned. All right, the food of the week this week.
Barton's
peppermint cookies. Now, I haven't tried one of these yet. You can hear me opening it. They're not an official sponsor, but if you're listening, Barton's, hey, hit me up on Twitter. I got our Twitter up. I'll mention this in the side. I am at Samurai Says Pod, P-O-D, just at Samurai Says Pod. If you want to tag us, if you want to talk to us, we're there. Follow us on Twitter to get all the Samurai Says news. I know I'm going to try one of these. They're covered in white frosting and crumbled up.
They're like an Oreo, like a generic Oreo, covered in white chocolate with peppermint chunks all over the place.
It is not bad at all.
They're really good. I was expecting to be a lot harder than they were.
Yeah, they're soft. It's sort of like white chocolate, but it's just kind of a frosting. Yeah, I was not expecting... my brother helped pick these up. Don't hypnotize people.
Very hungry.
My brother helped pick these out. We were watching the Browns game earlier.
I missed it all because I was working. Who won? They lost?
They lost. They lost to Houston, and it was weird because I have never seen they did lose, but I never saw the Browns play this way in a very long time. They were actually like driving the ball. There wasn't a flag every 60 seconds. They caught interceptions.
Oh no! They've been playing really well lately. I didn't watch the earlier part of the season, but the past couple of games I've caught on the radio.
Yeah.
They're playing like a football team.
Oh yeah.
Like a professional football team. People who are paid to play football and do it well.
It's actually very amazing that we and I was proud, even though we lost. We didn't lose because usually the Browns lose because somebody takes their helmet off or like somebody's ex-wife runs on the field. We lose for the most dumb reasons possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, it's a 3rd and long. Let's run it up the middle. It was like they were trying to lose or they were playing too defensively. Now the Browns are playing real football. It's really cool. I like this new coach. Manziel didn't get out there today, but or maybe he did for a little while. I don't know. I was playing Dwarf Fortress.
That's probably why they lost.
Rookie head. But we're not a sports podcast, Chris. We're just not. We're a geek podcast, comedy podcast. We talk about whatever. And I want to talk about some movies I watched.
Okay.
So now it's some time for some movie reviews.
Chew and swallow first.
No. Chew and swallow, Nedry.
You are getting very hungry.
Don't make me eat more.
Very hungry.
Shut up!
Okay, well, I watched a couple of movies since the last time we podcasted, Chris.
Okay.
And one of them was...
Epic fail.
I watched a movie called Kickboxer 2.
Not Kickboxer 1. Kickboxer 2.
Kickboxer 2. Now, a brief refresher. Not many people know about the first... but there was a series of Van Damme movies where he fought in fighting tournaments or things like that.
The exact same guys, the exact same tournaments. Pretty much.
Usually, yeah, there was The Quest, there was Bloodsport, there was Kickboxer, there was Lionheart. Actually, I think that's all 4 of them. But
what's the guy's name that he was always fighting in those? The big guy.
Chong Li.
No.
Yeah. And 2 of them he fought Chong Li.
Okay.
No, that's not his real name. His real name is... oh, damn. He was also in My Lucky Stars. Remember, he was playing Millionaire Chan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who.
The bodybuilding champion. You got the internet right there, buddy.
No, you're gonna make me do work, aren't you?
Yes, you're paid in tacos and peppermint cookies to do your job.
Yes.
But no, he was not in Kickboxer, though. Kickboxer was all Van Damme and a couple of other people. Now, there was a... Oh, excuse me. Yeah, just look up Bloodsport. He's in there. Bolo Young. I just remembered.
Yeah, Bolo Young.
Bolo Young. The man who
I love that guy. He's awesome.
He's awesome. He was a bodybuilding champion and a Tai Chi master, and he did a lot of movies in the 90s. And the legend is, to escape communism, he swam from mainland China to Hong Kong.
I believe it with that guy.
That's about 28 miles. He's one of the best all-around athletes out there. So, it's, yeah. But Van Damme was in the first one. Kickboxer was good. He fought Tung Po in that, an actual Moroccan kickboxer who was famous in Thailand. A lot of people think that Tung Po was Thai. He was playing a Thai, but he was actually Moroccan. And then the guy's real name, I can't remember what it was. But there is a real Tung Po, and then there's a guy who played Tung Po later. It's confusing as hell. But Van Damme did not want to do Kickboxer 2 because he went on to do Double Target with... what's his name? Dennis Rodman and Mickey Rourke, which was a higher paid movie. He didn't want to do Kickboxer 2, so...
That's a movie I haven't seen in a while, Bloodsport.
Oh, that's a good movie. Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Lionheart, they're all good. The Quest is a little but that was first time Van Damme directed himself. But Van Damme had nothing to do with this movie. Didn't even have a cameo. Basically, it was Sasha Mitchell. They didn't even get back Stan Bush to do an epic theme.
Really?
That's sad.
Yes, that is.
If you can't get Stan Bush to do your damn music, what are we doing? But no, Bloodsport 2, or not Bloodsport 2, excuse me, Kickboxer 2.
Oh.
Yeah, you're looking up the wrong sequel. Yeah, Bloodsport 2, they kind of had the diet Van Damme in it. A guy who looks like Van Damme, but he's not.
Yeah.
Kickboxer 2, they didn't even try. They got Sasha Mitchell. Now, a lot of people will remember him as Uncle Cody from...
he wasn't really an uncle. He was like a cousin Cody.
Cousin Cody or something like that. Cody on Step by Step, which was part of TGIF's lineup in the 90s. What most people don't know about the guy is he started his career as a martial artist, and he tried to get into the martial arts movie world. And he did it in Kickboxer 2. He was going to be the replacement for Van Damme. He played Van Damme's brother in the movie, which is weird because Van Damme had two brothers in that movie. Both were American.
Two brothers.
And he was Belgian. So, I don't know. Hey, yeah, just ignore it. Just pretend it didn't happen.
Don't say that word.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to.
You are a huge nerd.
Yeah, but basically, yeah, he was from that country next to France. But yeah, Kickboxer 2...
That shall remain nameless because everybody walks right through it.
Yeah, basically, unless you're stopping in Bruges and getting some beer. 15,000 microbrews in a town the size of Worcester.
I like some of those beers.
I know, and I would love to go to Bruges and just drink beer a lot. In any case, see where in that movie Brendan Gleeson fell out of a window and busted like a water balloon? That was a good movie. Anyway, I just ruined it for you, Chris. I keep trying to get him to watch In Bruges, and I just ruined the end. Anyway.
I don't care.
Anyway, Kickboxer 2. We're getting off topic.
A lethal kickboxer killed his brother. Now
Yes.
David Sloan must seek revenge the only way he knows how. In the ring.
Yes, and the thing is, the movie has...
Why do they have a picture of Mike Tyson on there?
That's not Mike Tyson. That's the guy. That's Tung Po.
It's Mike Tyson.
He looks like Mike Tyson, but it's not.
I'm gonna fight you.
Anyway, the movie felt more like a what am I thinking of? Like it felt like a kids movie. I think they were trying to appeal to kids because it was about PG or PG-13. It wasn't like the first Kickboxer, which was really bloody, really graphic. It had boobies.
And had people getting punched in the nuts horribly.
Yeah, well, there were still some nut shots in this movie, but still, it was the classic story of. Back then, it wasn't a classic story. It's still a very new story of the guy who ran the gym where he let kids stay there and helped them out and, kept them out of the gangs and stuff like that. He tried his best. And, here comes this nasty, what? What?
The White Van Damme.
Yeah, Daniel Barnhart. Yeah, he's looking up other stuff over here. He's been in some other movies. He made a name for himself.
That guy is definitely a Van Damme light.
Yeah, he's
the Van Damme for when you don't want all the calories of the original Van Damme.
Yeah, he's Van Damme with half the calories. Yeah, no, but back to Kickboxer 2. It was nothing like the first Kickboxer, Chris. It was not really even a sequel. They just pasted the name Kickboxer 2 on it. The stories linked up kind of, but it was a good movie. And Sasha Mitchell, who they definitely got just because he was cheap, was just genuinely charming in this movie. it was like you really rooted for that guy and you believed in him, and it was like you really want to see him succeed. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, that's better than most people do.
Yeah, it was a good movie, and here's the unusual thing: it was David S. Goyer, his first writing outing. David S. Goyer was a screenwriter for Batman Begins, the whole trilogy actually: Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. He wrote the Blade movies. He directed Blade 2. Very successful filmmaker, screenwriter, actor, or not actor, director, David S. Goyer. This was his first script. And the bad guy, and the lead bad guy was played by the guy who plays Raymond's dad on Everybody Loves Raymond, which is kind of funny. But, you can keep... we kept making jokes about it. Raymond! Anyway, it was Brett Garrett I did. But anyway, so yeah, Kickboxer 2 gets a recommendation, but don't expect too much. It's not Citizen Kane. It's not Enter the Dragon. It's not classic. But if you just want to see one of the classic 90s, feel-good martial arts, beat-up-the-bad-guy movies, something that Jason David Frank would be in, nowadays. He's still making those movies, God bless him. But it's just a feel-good movie. The fight scenes are good for a 90s action film. They're not up to Jackie Chan standards. They're not even up to Van Damme standards, but they're still entertaining to watch. But I would recommend it. If you could find it as a renter, don't let the 2 in the title, throw you off. Now, Kickboxer 3, 4, and 5, no. Absolutely not. I've seen snippets of them, and they're just comically bad. There's cutscenes in 90s video games that are better than this. Just bad movies. Just don't even bother. But next on the docket, new Transformers film.
Another one?
Oops, wrong one. It wasn't yeah.
I haven't even seen 2 or 3 yet.
Chris actually did see...
the first one.
Yeah, Chris did see the first one.
And Megan's foxhole.
Oh, boy. Yes. She is something else. Yeah, the first... see, Chris and I loved Transformers as kids. They were great toys, let's be honest.
And GoBots were just the lame alternative.
Yeah, GoBots were kind of the jabroni one, but GoBots were still fun. The guy that was the motorcycle and all that. But no, the Transformers show was great. And the Transformers movie made by Michael Bay, a lot of people said it was knuckleheaded and stupid. I think it's about giant transforming alien robots. What do you want? You know what I mean? Do you want drama? Do you want,
This brings up an interesting question.
Yeah.
Or at least an interesting comment.
Mm-hmm.
More like a social commentary.
Yes.
Did your grandparents buy you GoBots thinking they were Transformers?
No. My parents bought us... The only Transformers we got when we were kids, since our parents weren't poor. They just didn't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on toys.
Okay.
When I spent most of my time playing with a 99-cent bag of Army Men. So they didn't get us the big Transformers because they knew we would break them and or lose them. They got us nothing but the tapes that went in Soundwave.
Oh, okay.
So we had a whole bunch of those.
Okay. But I know I'm not the only person that happened to.
Yeah.
Whose grandparents say, "Oh, no, that's Transform." No, it's not. It's GoBots.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
GoBots had their own charm, but it was their own. It was that kind of their own section of the world. But no. Everybody says now people love to bash the Transformers movie, but again, I say, what are you expecting? For one, you have Michael Bay. The man makes nothing but knuckleheaded films. Okay, nothing but movies about butts and explosions and cheesy one-liners. That's
lens
all
flares.
He makes. Yeah, and lens flare. Well, that's J.J. Abrams,
oh, yeah.
the master of the lens flare.
Mind you, Michael, you can put less stuff in a film if you block it all out with lens flare.
Yes, but Michael Bay, he's not so much known for the lens flares, but mostly explosions. Everything explodes.
CG explodes.
Yeah, well, he uses real ones. He does. He goes back to the organic explosions a lot, and the only situation where he uses CG as explosions is where it doesn't sync up with the CG characters.
Right.
They'll use a real explosion against a real backdrop but basically that's the technical aspect. But people love to bash these movies because they're a little knuckleheaded. My biggest qualm with it is that they say the robots that use dirty slang and stuff is racist. And I'm thinking, okay, they're robots. Because you assume they're black just because they're using slang and talking like gangstas, that means you're racist.
Right.
That's what I say.
I love Jazz in the show.
Yeah, Jazz.
The original Jazz.
Jazz. Well, it was. Let's be honest. Jazz was the voice he had was Scatman Crothers, the most black man you will ever... I mean, okay, maybe Keith David is a little bit blacker than he is.
Right.
Isaac Hayes is even blacker than that. Samuel L. Jackson's possibly the blackest man on earth.
Right.
But Scatman Crothers, he's up there. In the 70s, he got away with writing a song called I'm the Nigger Man. You know, I mean, it's... I'm leaving that in the show. I don't care, because it's the name of a song.
Yeah, it's the name of the song.
I love the song.
This is a social commentary we desperately need in this world.
Yes. Scatman Crothers wrote that, you know, just kind of making fun of the culture that calls themselves by that word. And, yeah, he was black. So when you get a voice actor to be Jazz, he's going to sound black. Jazz in the 80s sounded black for the 80s. Jazz in the 2000s sounded black for the 2000s. Big deal. But in the second and third one, they have these robots that are talking about, hey, dog, yo, homie, and they're all dumb and stuff, and everybody says, oh, they're racist. How do you know they're black? They could be dumb white robots. Or
right.
They could be, the most logical conclusion, robots without fucking race. I mean, they're transforming robot cars. They're not exactly... Anyway,
and let's be honest here. If they're learning our language via what we put out on the airwaves
and the internet, yeah.
What do you think they're going to learn?
Especially if they're listening to the radio.
How do you think they're going to talk?
Yeah, it's and you know I'm fine with it. It's just and
you
plus
know, they're not listening to Ben Carson's show.
Yeah, complaining because there's too many explosions. Chris, back me up. Is there such a thing?
There's too many CG explosions.
That's true.
But actual explosions? No,
yes.
No, definitely not.
And there's. It's just dumb. And they say the characters are stupid. It says, yeah, the sequences with his parents are a little annoying. But, seriously, in the 80s, all the sequences that involved humans are also annoying. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
I'm speaking from a distance away.
Chris got up to
turn
off the fan.
How is everything out there?
I think we're getting some interference off the fan, so Chris got up to turn it off. Transformers 4, everybody has the same complaints. Oh, the story is anemic and shallow, and there's too many explosions, and the one Japanese robot is racist.
Hey, what can I say? Rodimus Prime.
Yeah.
I didn't. Is he in the movie?
No.
Okay. Well,
Galvatron's in it.
I'm just saying.
Galvatron's in it. Let's see. Drift, Hound. They finally put Hound in a movie.
Hound.
And they got John Goodman to speak for him.
Sweet.
Which is amazing. And I love the line, I'm like a fat ballerina. You know, it's... I don't know why you design a fat robot with a beard, but I don't mind. The movie is just awesome. It's what you want in a Transformers movie. It's giant transforming robots, and the fucking Dinobots are in it.
Oh.
Finally. Wait a minute, you don't like the Dinobots?
I've never had a big thing for them.
Grimlock is just my favorite. I'm sorry, but... Maybe we're not in agreement on that.
That's because you talked backwards and you could actually understand them because you were dyslexic.
Okay, yeah, maybe a little. No, I just liked Grimlock because he transforms into a T-Rex and blows fire and carries a sword. Okay, and in the movie he's just as awesome. Though a lot of people complain, oh, Grimlock didn't talk. It's like he barely talked in the cartoon. He was like, me, Grimlock. Did you want him talking like that in the show? I mean, what's next? They're going to cross over with Gem and the Holograms? I mean, people...
Yikes. I might watch that.
They're making a live-action Gem and the Holograms film.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know how to feel
Didn't they learn anything from Josie and the Pussycats?
Don't get me started on the whole Dan DeCarlo debacle. Don't even get me fucking started.
I am sworn to secrecy on what I know about the Dan DeCarlo.
No, I will preach it from the mountaintops. It's just we're supposed to be entertaining here, not depressing. We're not just supposed to be... Archie Comics drove a man to the grave penniless, you know. But I don't want... to get into that as long as it's not funny. As long as you're laughing, it's funny. But
dude, I laugh at anything.
I know. It's not funny in real life, folks. Look it up. Dan DeCarlo. Just Wikipedia the fucking guy if Archie hasn't gotten to his Wikipedia page again. It's basically Dan Bluth versus Disney all over again. Anyway. So, yeah, I recommend Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. And people, please, just stop complaining about it, okay? It's Mark Wahlberg. What do you expect from Mark Wahlberg? I'm going to say... I respect Mark Wahlberg because he started out as Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and now he's actually getting, like, acting roles. And he can act, except in The Happening.
And Max Payne.
Yeah, he was Max Payne.
Yeah,
not really.
No.
In name only.
No, you know who I thought should have been Max Payne.
Yeah. Thomas Jane.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have been the ultimate Max Payne.
Yes.
I saw the trailers for that Punisher film he was in. I thought it was Max Payne.
It basically was Max Payne. Yeah. But, no, don't get me started on the Punisher films. Dolph Lundgren was the best Punisher. The guy in Punisher Warzone was slightly not quite as good as Dolph, but good. And Thomas Jane, it's sort of on the same level with me as Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Same level. Just because it's just, he's a skinny little dude. He can get the angry look kind of right. But Punisher is supposed to be a big, bulky brick of a man. And they cast this gangly little ballet dancer. And, you know, it's no disrespect, not to take anything away from Thomas Jane. He's a hell of an actor, great performer, nothing against the man. It's just, if they cast Andy Dick as the Punisher, it would be about the same level as that. Well, no, okay, I'll give it. Andy Dick couldn't have been the Punisher better than Thomas Jane.
Right.
I'll give it that. I would have liked to see that, though, just for shits and giggles, you know. Hello, I'm here to kill you. You know,
Screen test.
Yeah, let's see his screen test. Bill Nye would have been, no, not Bill Nye.
No.
It would have been funny. Take a look at this. Boom, you know. Anyway, so yeah, to sum up, we only got 2 movie reviews. I watched those 2 movies.
Okay.
Basically, Kickboxer 2, don't miss it. Don't miss it. It's one of those great 90s films like...
you get together with your friends, you know, you hang out, you watch a kickboxer film.
Yeah.
It's better than watching some of the MMA fights that are out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And
except that one where the chick, like, nearly lost her ear.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. Or Jason David Frank's MMA fights.
Right.
Oh, that was... You almost feel sorry for the guy, because not only is he getting pounded into a sponge of blood and bone, he's getting it done by a green Power Ranger. It's got to be fucking embarrassing. Not to take anything away from Jason David Frank. The man's a badass. I would not want to be I mean, aside from Samson, there's no one who is close to God as he is that I want to get in a fight with.
Imagine something here.
Yes.
Okay. We have all this stuff about, what's her name, Pink Ranger, going out and playing, singing songs in her uniform. Imagine, if you will, the immediate crowd reaction if Jason David Frank went into the MMA ring wearing a green Power Ranger outfit.
There you go.
Now, they laugh.
Yes.
Until, like, the entire first minute begins, and then he, like, kicks the shit out of whoever's fighting. Then they stop laughing.
This man has not just not seen round 2 of a professional fight. He has not seen minute 2 of a fight. He has won by knockout. He has won by submission. He's actually a very good fighter. And the reason he never got into it is he only got offered professional fights around the end of his prime. I mean, he's in his 40s, folks. So, yeah. Anyway, Jason David Frank. I would love to have you on the show, Mr. Frank.
Please.
I have been in discussion with you and Dante Bosco about getting on the show, Rufio.
And fighting.
Yeah, let's have it. Dante Bosco versus Jason. Oh, that would be fucking one-sided. All my love to Dante Bosco. He's a great guy. He's a fun guy. One of his favorite things to do is show up at costume contests dressed as Rufio. And people are like, man, you even look like him. And he's like, thanks. And they're like, you sound like him too. And, you know, and he said he's never won a contest, though. But
that's a shame.
Yeah, he says if he ever won, he turned down the prize. But he even has, he does Jake Long, American Dragon. He has that costume. And he wears that, and he has a Prince Zuko costume he wears, which is his big roles that he's known for. And people think he's nuts because he comes to these conventions in costume and not like as himself, but he says, I'm just a geek like everybody else. I just like to cosplay. I just so happen to also be these characters. But yeah, okay, Dante Bosco, you two. I will not make you fight Jason David Frank. I won't.
But it would be awesome if you did.
It'd be awesome if you did, for charity. You know, we'll start a charity and like every 10 seconds you last, we'll get people to donate like $50. It'd be a $50 donation. No disrespect to you, Mr. Bosco. I know you were Rufio. I thought you were Ra from Stargate, but it was another guy. I could have swore that was him for the longest time. It looks like him.
Kind of, but yeah, it's not.
No, it's not. When I was a kid, I thought it was the same guy. And Dad's like, no, that's just some gay guy. And I was like, and then I looked it up, and it was some gay guy, actually. It's like, wow, Dad has a good eye. I thought he just looked gay, but anyway. All Nubians look gay, but anyway, sorry, Nubians. But, yeah, so, yeah, get on the show, man. That was... I didn't really fart, folks. That's just my sound effects thing. Okay, I forgot to put the fight card on the on my schedule, so I don't know where we usually put it. Don't we put it?
I don't remember.
We put it right before the end of the world.
I just had something in my brain that I was going to talk about, but then we got onto a sub-subject, and I don't remember what it is now.
We could throw it out there. We were talking about Kickboxer 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got onto Jason David Frank.
Yeah, kissing his ass to try to get him on the show.
Right. Crap, I can't remember now.
I don't remember either. In any case, let's continue. We got news, folks. News. All the news that's fit to abuse. Here on the Samurai Says. Yes, right. Panic, folks. We got some great breaking news.
Where is
Chris.
your honor, dirtbag? You are an absolute disgrace.
We do. Arlie Ermy manages to do a movie without using the word cock, but no, that was Toy Story. I thought I created the term cock holster, but actually it's a little older than that. It wasn't another movie. Shut your cock holsters, I thought I came up with that.
Is anything similar to a cum dumpster?
No. Cock holster would be mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of a joke to also say, Well, the second 300 movie actually had the guys on the like the Greek thing yelling at each other, and one guy goes, "Shut your cockhole, Spartan!" That's pretty bad. But anyway, we'll get back to the news. We got some great breaking news that the basically it was overshadowed by Kim Kardashian's bubble ass, but the real news is this. Humankind, the ESA, the European Space Agency.
Well, I wouldn't call them humans, but okay, we'll benefit of the doubt.
They're Europeans, Chris. They try very hard, but have landed a probe on the surface
on Uranus.
No, there is no surface of Uranus. Uranus consists of nothing but gas. Where's my tish? Oh, that's not it.
Okay,
anyway,
yeah, a little
no,
late
it's
there.
a comet. They landed the Philae lander on 67P, with the one with the really long name that I keep forgetting. I was following this live at a truck stop on my iPad the whole time.
It's puzzling.
And,
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this before.
Oh yeah, they got pictures from the surface of a comet, Chris. That's amazing.
Sure.
And, well, the thing is that the comet's gravity was so light that they were worried that the probe, which is roughly about the size of a shoebox, I believe, the Philae lander, was going to bounce off. Just boing. And so they actually had 3 deployable legs that had harpoons that shot into the ground to hold it down.
Nice.
And they also had a jet on the top to press it down into the surface so that the harpoons could fire. Now, it was not without problem. Basically, when the probe first landed, and the probe is called Philae, which is the name of the river where they found the island where they found the Rosetta Stone, hence Rosetta Philae. Where they found that big obelisk that had the Rosetta Stone, so we could translate all the hieroglyphics. And
okay.
Yeah, so that's the name. That's the history of the name. I'm just showing off the fact that I have access to Wikipedia. But anyway, so they landed it there, and the Joker came after him. At first, there was a problem with the probe. It came in a little fast.
I hate it when that happens.
And it bounced. And everybody thinks it just went boink and then landed. No, it bounced 6 kilometers.
That happens on a low-gravity planet.
Yeah. It almost went back into orbit. They actually had to fire the top booster to get it to land. Then it bounced again, and they said it maybe went about 800 meters that time. I think it's 800. Yeah, almost a kilometer. Wait, how long is a kilometer?
Yeah, 1,000 meters.
Yeah, so 800 meters, almost a kilometer. Again, I keep this man around for the metric conversion. That's a hell of a bounce. And the problem was, even though they were getting signals from it, they had no idea where it was on the surface of the comet. Now, there's not a whole lot of real estate, so they're taking pictures with Rosetta trying to find it, but they were still getting pictures on the surface. They got a 360-degree panorama. They did
of rocks.
It's not just rocks this time; it's also ice.
Well, that makes it worth it.
Yeah, they're still doing a spectrograph of what the stuff consists of. They're examining the spectrograph to figure out the exact composition. They got an idea now, but nothing quite concrete. Concrete? Rocks?
Bad.
Anybody? Oh.
Bummer.
All right, but anyway, So, basically the Philae probe was not designed to last very long, and unfortunately it landed right on the side of a cliff, so it was in shade most of the time. Batteries are dead. They ran a little hot and then they died. So they only got maybe about a day or two out of it, which is all they expected. It's a tiny, tiny little probe, and Rosetta's going to keep circling this comet for a very long time.
Until it crashes right into us.
Yeah.
Ironically on Europe.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten to the end of the world yet. We like to end the world every week here on Samurai Says, and we'll get to the...
You didn't send me that file.
What, the end of the world?
Yeah, you didn't send me what you were planning on.
Well, I'm not ending the world. I don't need your help with it. I mean, we're just going to be discussing it.
Yes, Pinky.
No, they want to take over the world. They don't want to end it. Though they did destroy that. Remember the one with Chia Earth? They actually did destroy the Earth in that one. And now we're all living on Chia Earth. That's some fucked up shit for a children's show. Anyway.
That was a great show.
Yeah. And and it ended with them being Elmira's pets.
Okay. What can you say about a show where two lab rats are trying to conquer the Earth, and they do so by using country music?
Yes.
And nearly succeed.
Way to go, blah blah booby, right? Yeah, it's a good show. But what we were talking about? Oh yeah, Philae probe. So European Space Agency, they land the thing, not without problem. A couple of issues here and there. A little bumpy ride, you know. That wasn't even a pun. That was just factual.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Bummer.
Yeah, that's what I do when I have a bad joke.
I'm sorry.
Okay, in other news. Did you have a news? Some news?
Kind of, yes. Some
Did
news.
you have a news?
Not sure I've got one somewhere.
Not more than one news. Just a new.
Okay.
Evil.
Okay, this comes from upi.com. November 16th, 2014. Man dresses in Santa suit robs post office in Australia.
Again, part of your catalog of amazing headlines.
Article by Fred Lambert.
Oh, what's the website? Oh, UP.
Yeah. A post office in Australia was robbed Saturday, and the culprit was armed only with a costume of Santa Claus. Video of the incident shows the man, clad in a fake bushy white beard, wig, sunglasses, red suit, approaching the counter of Snell Grove Post Office with a sack, demanding cash. At one point, the suspect sits on the counter and frantically snatches as much money as possible.
Absolutely excellent.
That's what you'd think. However, police say the man carried no weapons and that no one was harmed in the incident, though two female postal workers on shift were horrified.
I hate it when I'm horrified at work. Oh, boy.
They initially thought that he was going to give them some lollies.
I wanted some lollies from Santa, but he wound up robbing my ass.
And they got quite shaken when they realized it was a robbery. The suspect, described as a white male, around 6 feet tall, and jolly, fled the scene in a cream-colored Jeep Compass with false plates.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone here. Hold the phone.
Well, if you just got away with robbing a bank, wouldn't you be jolly?
Well, yes, but is jolly in the fucking police report?
No, I'm just saying.
Is it a joke on there?
No, I made it a joke.
Oh, you made it a joke.
I added it in.
Oh, you added it. I was going to say, I thought that was part of the
article. That was a hell of an ad-lib.
I know.
You had to ruin it.
I'm sorry. I thought it was part of the article.
He fled the scene in a cream-colored Jeep Compass with false plates, according to police.
Well, it is a good disguise.
Trailing the disturbingly crushed corpse of a red-nosed reindeer.
Well, here's the worst part of this, Chris. Here's the absolute tragedy of this one. It's only November. Okay. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. Come on, man. Seriously, you're worse than like Walgreens playing the music, you know.
You are one pathetic loser.
I'm not for this at all, okay? Just if you're gonna rob dressed as something in this season, make it like a turkey or a pilgrim or something. Just yeah. Where's that from?
You clumsy poop! What'd you do that for?
That's a great movie. Throw Mama from the Train?
Oh, yeah. I knew a woman who looked just like that when I was a kid. I won't mention
She was one of our teachers, wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
No, not Mrs. Miller.
No, I was thinking of one of the other ones.
So, basically, Santa way out of sea, described as jolly. That was good, and I'm sorry I blew it. Here, I'll give you a belated banana fish.
That's okay. I've got plenty more over here.
Okay. Alright. Chris is a drummer. He should be able to do his own fucking badum tish.
But I don't have a drum machine over here, or else I would.
Oh, that's it. Well, Santa might bring you one, Chris. Who knows?
Sure, he will.
But, oh, here's an interesting fact. This isn't a news story. We'll get to the next news story in a second. But I got to tell you this, Chris, because I know you'll love it being a percussion guy.
No!
Did you know that Zildjian is one of the oldest musical companies in existence?
Yeah, actually I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know who started it?
A guy named Zildjian.
Yes. An alchemist.
In Turkey.
Yeah. A Turkish alchemist started a cymbal company.
Yeah.
And people say alchemy is pointless.
Did you know that one of the owners of Zildjian broke off and started the Sabian cymbal company?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I spent like 5 hours reading into this one night
Really? Okay. Well, I did not know
because
that.
I was trying to get down to the details of as to why Zildjian and Sabian cymbals sound so different, and most people won't notice it. You know, and I've even asked other drummers about it, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, they do sound different, but they can't explain why." And you know, to me, it's night and day between a Zildjian and a Sabian cymbal.
Yeah.
I mean, they a Sabian has kind of more of a hissing sound to it, whereas a Zildjian has a much more vibrant tone to it.
More of a crisp kind of.
And it goes a lot further in depth. Like that day I showed you the different sounds you can make with one cymbal.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a huge difference in them. And yeah,
That's why you prefer Sabians.
No, I prefer Zildjians.
Oh, you prefer Zildjian.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zildjians have a much more.
You're an alchemist guy.
Have a much more brighter sound to them.
Couldn't turn lead into gold, but he made a hell of a cymbal.
Right.
So let's.
Hey, bronze is difficult to work.
It is, well, he was one of the first people to work with bronze. Bronze came about because alchemists were trying to create gold, and they got as close as they could, which was bronze. And then they figured out, oh, this is actually pretty damn useful. And they, people don't realize alchemy was most famous in like the 1600s. Then it was just kind of the sexy new thing that everybody was trying. But actual alchemy, that is metallurgy and trying to transmute things from one to another, goes all the way back to prehistoric. There were alchemists around when Jesus was walking around. So, but anyway, we got way off topic. We got another news story. I keep hitting the Cesar Romero laugh there.
Mr. Flibble's very cross.
Okay, according to comicsalliance.com and just about every other geek website, there's big news, a great die-cut vinyl of Danny Elfman's Batman theme for the Batman the Animated Series. That thing. We all know Batman the Animated Series. We all watched it
Great
when we were
show.
kids. Unless we were like locked in a closet as a child.
Like you.
Well, only a little bit, and by teachers mostly. But anyway, the vinyl version of the Danny Elfman Batman theme is going to be released on limited edition vinyl. And it is going to have the big packaging and everything, just like the retro thing. And it is shaped like the bat symbol. Might be a little difficult to play. I'll throw that one at you. But as far as collectors, this is going to be a gold item. Expect it to sell out quickly and then go back up on eBay very much more quickly and then sell it on eBay. And then go back on eBay a week later and then no one else will buy it.
Right.
So that's what happens with these big collector's items. But yeah.
That wasn't funny, man.
I think here's another one as far as things you can buy. I meant to hit that. Well, they're both horns. I guess it both works. They're bringing back underoos, Chris. And they're going to come in adult sizes. And they're going to be selling them at Hot Topic, the store that was once just for goths and now for geeks and bronies. Like, for a goth store, you know how back in the day you used to go into Hot Topic and it was like 99% Nightmare Before Christmas. Everything.
Oh yeah.
It was plastered on every
Everything.
wall, floor, and the surface of everything in there, like, that they had. They had 3 different versions of it for Nightmare Before Christmas. Nothing against that movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just I don't understand the complete nutso that... I just don't understand how they went completely nutso about it at Hot Topic. Nowadays, it's My Little Pony. Fucking everything. And I like the show. I mean, I'm an unapologetic brony. It's just I don't understand the level that they're going to at Hot Topic. They're just going way out of hand. But now... they're going to have underoos, and they're bringing back all the classics. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and He-Man underoos.
Mm-hmm.
All of these. Aquaman for the T-shirt and the briefs.
For the one guy that likes Aquaman.
Some people like Aquaman. I mean, yeah, Aquaman's he's very specific. I think that's why most people hate him. He committed a crime in the desert. He's not really all that useful, but still, he can bring a bucket of water and throw it on somebody. But anyway, but no, that's cool too. They're bringing back underoos, and get yourself the Danny. If you feel like that's what I was aiming for 5 seconds ago. If you feel like buying us some stuff, hey, send us those. If Amanda Bynes can go on Twitter and list all the things she wants people to buy them and get every single fucking one, I mean...
Yeah, I'm not going to wear underoos.
Then why... Well, you don't have to. I'll wear them. No, I can't wear briefs. Honestly. Too tight. I need to swang. But anyway. All right, let's... Oh, look at the fireworks. Ignore me mentioning my testicles. All right. So, are we done with the news?
I think they make creams to cure that up.
Am I have fireworks coming out of my testicles?
Dude, you might want to get that looked at. Cut back on the beer until then, man.
Oh, it burns when I pee, Doc. We may have our zinger, but anyway. Okay. All right.
Don't cough into the mic. It's loud.
Now, we need a cough button. Should we go to shit you shouldn't know,
That's a lot of nuts!
Or should we go to the fight? We have a good fight tonight.
I don't know. I don't have anything for stuff you shouldn't know.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. Wow, it's too bad you people can't hear what happened during the break. Holy shit, you wouldn't believe it. Chris, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Oh, man.
That was a close one, though.
Yeah, it missed your head by that much. I mean, sheesh. But, man, it was too bad I had it paused. I mean, that would have been epic.
They wouldn't have cared anyway.
No, they wouldn't have believed it if they heard it. But anyway, okay. All right, it's time for Who Would Win in a Fight, Chris.
Again?
Yes, it is.
Okay, ring the bell
Don't
already.
worry. I think the guy's down. I think I bumped the loop button. Okay, this week's fight, Chris. We have a good one.
Uh-oh.
I call it the fast food fracas.
Uh-oh.
In the first corner, a heavyweight weighing in at whatever a guy who constantly eats hamburgers weighs. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Dave Thomas. Yes, Dave Thomas.
I don't know what that's going to sound like on there.
No, I don't know. It sounds like something. The founder of Wendy's.
Founder of Wendy's. Dave Thomas.
He used to do the commercials, too. He was kind of a stand-in.
Dave Thomas was awesome.
Dave Thomas was awesome.
He looks like a guy that ate his company's burgers, though.
Yes. And I'll tell you what.
Especially the Baconator.
Yeah, I love the Baconator. I'll tell you what about Wendy's.
There's nothing that would kill you faster than a triple Baconator.
Yes.
I'm glad they took that off the menu.
Basically, I eat a lot of fast food, Chris, because I'm a trucker.
Right.
I mean, you can't always cook your own food in the truck. Sometimes you can, but and I can tell you, Wendy's is one of those that's consistently good.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a McDonald's,
I love their fries. Not McDonald's fries. I mean, McDonald's fries are
Yeah.
okay. They've gotten better.
Wendy's fries
as long as they're
are
hot.
great.
Wendy's fries are awesome.
Yes. No matter where the franchise is, it's always of high quality.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's, sometimes they're really, really good. And other times you get a Big Mac that looks like somebody sat on it,
Mm-hmm. If you're lucky.
Yeah. They don't
Other
really
times it's
control
going
their
to scatter
franchise.
randomly around the box.
Yeah, I mean, it's fast food. It's not gourmet fucking food. But, I mean, Wendy's is still, no matter where you go, it always kind of tastes the same. And I've been in more states than most people. I've been all over the place, and I've had Wendy's a lot, and it's always kind of the same. And Dave Thomas, hell of a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a book about how to start your own business and run it called Well Done. I read the book. I put it into running on my own convention, and I must have ignored everything because that convention sucked. No, I'm kidding.
You probably should have gone with Ben Stein's book.
Yes. Oh, How to Ruin Your Life?
Or yeah.
I read that too, yeah. That's actually a very good book. But Ben Stein's not involved in this battle.
No. This is Dave Thomas.
Yes, Dave Thomas.
Not the Dave Thomas from A Grace Under
SCTV?
Fire. Or yeah.
Not that guy.
Not that Dave Thomas.
No.
Other Dave Thomas.
This one has burger powers.
This one does have burger powers.
Yeah, according to
irrational
irrational exuberance, yes. Wow, is that remote?
Yes. But some people will get it.
Yes. Folks, if you can be the first one to get on the Twitter, at Samurai Says Pod, at Samurai Says Pod is what it is. Go to my Twitter, explain to me what irrational exuberance is. If you're the first
The
one.
reference to it.
Yeah, if you're the first one to tell me what it was.
We'll give you a shout out.
We'll give you a shout out on the show. I'll send you a t-shirt. No, I won't. But
You don't have any t-shirts.
No, we got t-shirts. We got merchandising.
Since when?
Yeah, at www.cafepress.com/JTS Apparel.
Oh, nobody told me.
Yeah, we do. The Samurai Says t-shirts. We have boxer shorts.
Do you still have the
coffee
thongs?
cups. Yeah, we have the thongs that say the Samurai demands it. Which is really scary because we sold out of the XXX larges a long time ago. So I'm thinking there's a lot of really, really big guys walking around in my thong. Or ladies. I don't know. I like them chubby, but still, there's a limit. As I told my brother, I'm a chubby chaser, not a blimp pilot. Anyway.
Well, there goes half our listeners.
Only the really, really big ones. No, the large ladies need loving too, you know. I mean, as Mika said, big girls are beautiful. But anyway, we're getting off topic. Speaking of big girls, he's not, but Dave Thomas, he's a big guy. He's kind of beefy. No pun intended. Oh, beefy. All right. And he seems like a guy who would be a heavy hitter, and he wouldn't back down.
No, he wouldn't back down. He doesn't know how to quit.
No, he was up against Burger King, he was up against McDonald's, he was up against Taco Bell, and he was also up against a little place called Kentucky Fried Chicken. Ooh. And a man, a legend, if you will, who was on every bucket, Colonel Sanders. I don't know his full name. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I know a little bit about him. This man started the Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in a gas station.
Best place.
He came up with...
as long as it wasn't the bathroom at the gas station.
No. What was it, 7 herbs and spices? And
something like that.
Yeah, he came
or
up
12
with
herbs
them.
And spices? I don't remember.
12 herbs, a number of herbs and spices. You got Google right there. Hit me, man.
God. Why are you going to make me do all the work?
Well, because my computer's not connected to the internet. Right
okay.
Now.
Yeah, because
I don't believe in Wi-Fi.
Right, I don't. It's just an opening. It's just leaving your buttonhole open.
Well, some people don't have a problem with that, Chris. Anyway.
Oops, wrong one.
I'm not even sure what the joke was. And we get to see Chris's Facebook page.
And your mom posting stuff about how her son never calls her enough.
I call Mom. I talked to her the other night. You bastard talking about my mother. My mom's a police dispatcher. Every time I call 911, I get my mom. It's true. I had to call once because of a gas leak, and she's like, Josh, what is it? And I was like, Mom, don't just be professional.
Okay, it's 12.
12 herbs and spices.
And apparently the recipe's all over the internet, but I'm not sure if I can believe these.
No. Well, it could be leaked. People say, but the exact... See, the legend is Colonel Sanders started it in a gas station that he owned, and he carved it into a beam in the gas station. Because, as he said, no one could get back there to write it down because it was like in his office or something in the back of the gas station, and nobody could steal it.
Right.
Because they'd have to rip a support beam out of this place. So it's still there, reputably. It's somewhere in Kentucky, and it's still there. And it's like cordoned off and everything because the building's still owned by them. He kept it very secret. And the thing is, Colonel Sanders, who was not actually a military man,
he's just one of those colonels that's you know,
I'm
kind of like a
colonel.
Commodore, you know.
Yeah,
kind of like a Commodore. He's a rich playboy who needs a title, so we're gonna give him one.
He's the colonel. Yeah, and he had the suit too, you know. And I'll tell you, he rocked that suit.
That was a rocking suit.
Yeah.
You know you're dealing with somebody who means business when the guy's wearing a white suit.
A white suit and a bolo tie. Yeah, and they said he always wore that. And Kevin Smith said he admired Colonel Sanders because the guy had one outfit, and he mastered it. And this is what I will always wear. And he says, that takes guts. And it's true. And, and they say that when he started franchising Kentucky Fried Chicken, if somebody changed the recipe, if anybody didn't do it exactly as he specified, he would go there and kick their ass into the street.
Personally.
He was. Now, this is a first on who would win in a fight. These two have interacted in the past.
Oh.
This isn't really a first. We did Groot versus Hulk, and that fight actually happened.
Okay.
But this is something where these two people have actually interacted at the point where Colonel Sanders wanted to retire. Dave Thomas actually bought him out. And it wasn't like a hostile takeover. It was basically they were very good friends, and he agreed to keep the recipe.
It was a gentleman's agreement.
Well, yeah, and he trusted Dave Thomas to not change the recipe.
Right. Because Dave Thomas was an old school kind of guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he had his own recipes. Not secret recipes so much. But
Except that chili.
Yeah, the chili is good.
A little watery for my taste, but you know how my chili is. My
Well,
chili's epic.
Your chili, you couldn't make a restaurant cost-effective making your chili.
No.
You couldn't, because it would be like $12 a bowl.
But it would be the best $12 you ever spent.
Oh, people would pay it. This man has... That's almost like I want to have it as a contest.
Fuck you, I've got chili powers.
Yeah. It's almost... I think it's the first time Chris used the F word on this show. We got to play like a... The first time Chris used the F word on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. But yeah, I was thinking like when we have live events, one of the prizes will be like a bowl of chili. But I do want to keep the number of people who have had your chili under 100.
Yes.
Because
so do I.
If it gets above 100, well, that's why. Let me tell this story as an aside. I used to work at a place in Worcester. And it doesn't matter what I did. It was just it wasn't a telemarketing company. At least I can say that. But it was a shitty office job, and they were having a chili contest. Now, I knew that Chris could win easily because his chili is just amazing. It's never quite the same twice because you don't have a recipe.
I don't have a recipe. I just go by gut instinct.
Yeah, he goes by gut instinct, and
it's generally the same, but not. I don't have a set recipe. You know, I can't just do this. You know, the tablespoon of this, teaspoon of that, and get away with it. No.
He couldn't really teach somebody how to do it because you'd have to be inside his mind.
Don't be there.
Yeah, and you don't want to be in there. No, that's a bad place to be.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But anyway, I love that sound effect. I don't even know what it is really, but anyway, yeah. So he makes a big bowl of the chili, and we decide, well, we better try it out before we take it to the office. And then you can't just have one bowl.
No, none of my chili.
And by the time we were done, and I think Luke had a bowl too.
Yeah, Luke had a bowl.
Our landlord, who used to live downstairs, he's a good friend of ours too, and
also loves my chili.
Yeah, and he had a bowl, and then I think somebody else wanted a bowl. And by the time we were done, there was like a half full Tupperware thing, and Chris was like, "Well, it's enough for them to sample it. You know, that's all they have to do, right?" Nobody even noticed it was there because it was such a small thing. But that's good. Because the number of people that will have Chris's chili has to be kept under 100.
Or I have to start eliminating some.
Yeah, because, yeah.
If more than 100 people have my chili, the world ends.
Yes. And so we have to keep it under 100. So if we have a contest where you get to eat chili with Chris, you better damn well pay attention. Because you will be a member of one of the most exclusive clubs in the world. The people who have had the chili with no name. In any case, what we were talking about. Oh, yeah. Colonel Sanders versus Dave Thomas. So let's set up the scenario, shall we? Dave Thomas decides, and this is very out of character for him, so we'll say that he had like a brain parasite or something.
Or
no. That would
maybe like a drunken orgy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would affect his fighting ability, though. Let's just say that there's a misunderstanding. One of his underlings mistakenly changes the recipe.
Oh, shit.
And Colonel Sanders comes seeking revenge.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
And
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
And so the fight begins. And these two guys throw down in the... Anyway, these two guys throw down in the back of a Wendy's. So wouldn't be the first person to die in a Wendy's parking lot. Yeah. It would go out into the parking lot. I imagine there'd be explosions. There'd be a point where like Colonel Sanders picks up a car and throws it at him. Because seriously, these two guys eat nothing but protein. They got to have the muscle mass of a god, you know? I mean, it's going to be a pretty epic fight.
Yeah, but Colonel Sanders was getting up there.
That's true.
And Dave Thomas has burger powers.
He does have burger powers. But Colonel Sanders...
No, does chicken powers override burger powers? I don't think so.
I don't know, because you know what, Chris? If I had the choice between fried chicken and a burger...
Yeah, but it's a Wendy's burger.
That's true. It's a Wendy's burger.
It's a Wendy's burger. Think about it.
But it's extra
Think about
tasty,
it.
crispy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
this
sure.
one's so close. So close. I don't know who to choose.
Extra tasty crispy versus not a Baconator.
Not a Baconator.
No, because
The
it's too much
standard-
grease all at once. Maybe like a junior bacon cheeseburger.
The standard junior bacon cheeseburger.
Or no. Do they have one that's more conventional, like a bacon cheeseburger, but it's got like the lettuce and everything else on it?
I think so. Yeah, that would be the junior bacon cheeseburger deluxe.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't eaten there in a
The
while.
junior deluxe or something like that. Yeah, it's on the dollar menu, and Wendy's was the first to have the dollar
That's
menu.
right.
They were the innovators who decided we're gonna have a menu where everything's just a buck, and
That's
everybody jumped on that bandwagon except for Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right. It
Because
was still overcharging for their chicken.
well, it depends on how much you buy.
Right.
It's actually fairly reasonable compared to Popeyes or a place like that. Though I gotta admit, even though I like Kentucky Fried Chicken, you compare it to Popeyes, Church's Chickens, Bojangles.
There's a lot of small local places that have incredible fried chicken.
Oh yes, yeah, the Luna Kitchen, as I've recommended before,
Right,
up in
right.
Luna Pier, Michigan. Yeah.
Convenient Food Mart in Worcester.
Oh yeah.
Their fried chicken is epic.
There's
I think that's because they don't change the oil.
Church's Chicken I've always liked up in. And I know you're not a fan of Church's Chicken.
No.
The place is nasty. It's one of the nastiest restaurants you ever go to. But
We're gonna shout out to them.
no, they've been out of business since like 1998.
Okay.
But it was Millich's Chicken. That's
Millich's
what I'm
Chicken,
thinking.
okay.
Not Church's
Yeah.
Chicken. Church's Chicken was nasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Millich's Chicken was still kind of a rundown place, but the food was amazing.
Yeah, the food was awesome.
But yeah, I mean, all fried chicken is good. It's like saying, I've never really had a bad blowjob. You know what I mean? I've never really had bad fried chicken. But if I had to rate all the blowjobs I've ever had, some would rise to the top of the list, and some would be at the bottom. Same thing with, same thing with fried chicken.
Right.
And I gotta say, Kentucky Fried Chicken is consistently kind of along the bottom of the fried food because Bojangles is better, Popeyes is better. I'm not a huge fan of Popeyes, but it's better than Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right.
Though if you eat too much, you get a wicked stomach ache.
Mm-hmm.
It's the grease, I guess. And then if you go as far as down into Texas, where you have the local fried chicken places,
Right.
all ratty little dumps, but the food is amazing.
Right.
And so I don't know, but Wendy's, they're kind of the top tier when it comes to burgers. I mean, you gotta, if you're gonna rank them,
Oh man.
I'd almost put Wendy's at the top.
They've got to be at the top.
Wendy's, then Dairy Queen, and I know it's weird, but
Dairy Queen does
has-
have good burgers.
They have amazing burgers, yes. And then maybe you'd go down to Whataburger if you're down south. But, talking about Ohio here, we'd probably
Now,
go
we're
to-
talking strictly burgers in that instance.
Just burgers.
Because Arby's is a completely different.
Arby's is a completely different animal. Yeah, they're good.
That's one of the other fights later on.
Yeah. we'll have Mr. Arby's.
And Arby's comes in swinging.
The Arby's hand versus
They've
the
got-
hamburger helper guy.
Write that one down.
Call that the hand job. Anyway, we'll have that one next week. But no, but so considering that, if we just go because you have chicken power versus burger power, but what's the level of the burger powers?
Right.
I mean, of course, Ronald McDonald's going to be the Super Saiyan in this situation, and Dave Thomas is going to be more Krillin. But just based on
Dave Thomas can take any happy ass clown's ass.
oh,
Any day.
true. He would kick the shit out of Ronald McDonald, even though Ronald McDonald is like an evil magic child stealing pedophile.
It would be creepy.
Yeah, he could.
Tim Curry play Ronald McDonald.
Hey kids, you want a burger?
Do you believe in magic?
Oh, jeez.
Anyway,
Burger King or McDonald's sales have shot through the floor. No, yeah.
Straight to the bottom.
He would kick the crap out of Ronald McDonald, Mayor McCheese. He'd just take a bite out of him, spit it out because it's nasty.
Hamburglar starts having to extract his nuts from between his shoulder blades.
Yes, and that Burger King, he just smashed his head up against the
That's
pavement.
creepy.
Yeah, I hate that thing, especially in the one with where they're advertising the coffee and his eyes are bugging out of his head. It's so creepy. It's hilarious. You have to laugh or wet your pants. It's
You are one.
So how does that hit you? I mean, I know you're not a big fan of clowns in general. I mean, a lot of people are.
I'm not anti-clown. I was a mime. I mean, so I'm immune to clowns.
But I wonder how the Burger King affects people with clown allergies?
I don't know. I think it's autotomatobia, which is the fear of masks, you would say.
That could be.
Because it's a really creepy mask.
Right.
And I think it's meant to be. It's meant to be memorable. Yeah. You can kind of do it there, but...
You're an idiot.
Anyway, see, I would have to give it to Dave Thomas. I just respect
I've got to
that.
give it to Dave Thomas.
And in real life, he came out on top. You know what I mean? The
Human
Colonel,
ideals are laughable.
and granted, the Colonel got to retire a multi-millionaire, which
Right.
is saying something. But Dave Thomas worked up until the day he died. He had the eye of the tiger his whole life, and he took the eye of that tiger and he made it into a delicious burger. So we're going to call it for Dave Thomas,
Second round.
second round knockout. But an epic fight. You know, Tyson versus Holyfield all the way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know this thing's not going the distance. There's going to be a knockout, but it could go either way.
Right. No. I think Dave Thomas had control of it all the whole time.
It's true. It's true. The Colonel would put up a good fight, but yeah, I did go to one time in Texas. I decided to go to a local chicken place, and I'm not kidding. The place looked like the waiting room at a doctor's office. And yeah. Oh, and there's music playing. No joke.
Oh, nice.
There is, and it was just
Music.
and the
For
thing
people with odd temperament.
The weird thing is, Chris, is most people would say that the decoration in there was boring. It wasn't. It was utilitarian.
Right?
Because it was just a means by which you got chicken. You don't need frills. You don't need anything fancy in a situation like that.
Right.
I'll sit on a bench and eat off a plastic table, off a styrofoam tray, if it means I can have chicken that good.
Was it good?
Oh, it was amazing.
Okay, there you go.
And the thing is, too, is they also had you know, the standard stuff, potato wedges and fried okra, and they also had something that was interesting that I hadn't had since I was a kid, which was fried chicken liver.
Ooh.
I know it's gross to a lot of people.
I'm not a liver person.
I've had fried chicken liver and I've had fried gizzard, mainly because we raised chickens, and they had them both there, which for me was like a walk down memory lane. I loved it. It was actually, I could probably cut that.
That's okay. No big deal.
No, I can cut it.
It adds something to the show.
Anyway.
I'm gonna cut those.
But
No,
no,
maybe not.
he keeps telling me not to cut. Every time I hear myself, cut that, Josh. Cut that, future Josh. I hear you go, nah, keep it in. And believe it or not, there's a couple of orphaned, nah, keep it in, you know, in there, so they don't know what the hell we're talking about because I didn't listen to you. But anyway, so yeah, Dave Thomas. But no, if you're ever in Texas, Chris, look for the chicken. I don't know why you'd be in Texas. And look,
Why not?
if we're doing a live show in Texas when we take this on our national tour,
National tour.
doubtful, but it's been done.
Our national tour across to the other side of the county.
Yeah, all the way to Columbus. Anyway, if we ever get down south, Chris, for one, you got to try crawfish. Real pork cracklings. The kind that they put in a greasy brown plastic bag and they're warm.
I've never been a fan of those things.
Never really?
No.
You've never had real pork cracklings?
No, I've never
though.
had real ones, but I'm still just not a huge pork skin kind of guy.
What about crawfish?
I don't know. I've never had crawfish. I
Crave-
imagine they're probably
crave-
like shrimp.
They're like tiny lobsters, basically, and they make them in a crab boil that is always different. I made the mistake once in Louisiana. I was at a restaurant where they take the crawfish. There's a difference between crawdad and crawfish, believe it or not.
Size primarily.
Yeah, crawdads are tiny and crawfish are big enough to eat. And they took the crawfish and they just take it out of the pot. They put newspaper on your table, and they just dump it. And then they give you a little bowl with lemon butter in it, and you crack them open and dip them and eat them. And the legs have just enough in there that you can get it out, but there's really not a lot of meat on them, and they sell it by the pound. And it's delicious, and it's funny because me and my co-driver, Jeff, you're going to hear a lot of stories about Jeff in this show. He's also one of our number one listeners. He's like our number one
None of the really
fan.
good stories because we can't repeat them all.
I can't repeat a lot of the stories without his permission. But I'll let him call in sometime and tell the stories. But in any case, we were driving down the road. We were co-drivers at the point, so we're driving the truck, and we had some leftover crawfish. You always have leftovers when you eat because they serve you these things by like the 10-pound bucket, and you'll never finish them. No living human being has ever finished an entire servings of crawfish. And so I warm them up in the microwave. We had a microwave in the truck. And we started to notice that they'll stick to things. Because the legs are kind of like little, like those little
pinches.
bag clips. Yeah. You can open them up and then put them on your nose or your ear or just connect them to your cheek. And so we're going down the highway and we start connecting them to our face and pulling up next to people and going, ah! Like, and it looks like there's all these things crawling on our faces. And Jeff, we went in to get gas and he put one in his mouth. And then, like, when he paid for the gas, he'd go, and then come out of his mouth and the lady's freaking out. Oh my God! Like that. This is the kind of things you can get away with, Chris. When you never have to be in that state again. You know what I mean? It's this is the kind of things you can pull when you know you'll never see these people again in your entire life. I couldn't go down the street and pull that because my mom's a police dispatcher. She would know this. But yeah.
But she would laugh.
She would laugh. She would stifle laughter when she was around me so she could tell me off. I'm 34 and still afraid of my mother, but my mother carries a gun. But anyway, she's completely licensed, folks, so don't worry about it. And she's responsible as a gun owner. All right, where the hell were we? Now, Chris, you had something for shit you shouldn't know. Oh, we're going to start shit you shouldn't know. We got two things we're going to cover. And one of them is Chris is a fan of these. They're on the thought catalog, according to what I'm looking at here.
Creepy ass 2-sentence stories. These are the stories that nightmares are made of.
Yes. Now, the one I know is the shortest horror story ever told.
Tell it.
The last man in the world sat alone in a room, and there was a knock at the door.
Yes, that one's on here.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah.
That was a famous writer who did that. I think it was Larry Niven.
Probably.
Maybe Larry Niven. It sounds like a Niven. Anyway, these were... wait a minute. Was that Fluffy Pony?
It could have been. I don't know.
Did that say... Go down further. You got to read the one from whatever Fluffy Pony is.
I don't see it.
Okay, but I thought I saw that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Fluffy Pony's... okay.
Day 312. Internet still not working.
Oh, man. That is scary.
I'm not afraid.
Thank you, 4chan.
I'm not afraid.
I survived without the internet for a whole year once.
I'm just going to read a few of these. We don't need to do all the ones that they list.
No. That was a good one, but yeah.
I begin by tucking him into bed, and he tells me, Daddy, check for monsters under my bed. I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, Daddy, there's somebody on my bed.
Oi.
Let's see.
No!
That is scary. Too bad we missed...
I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead.
Ooh.
The doctors told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time. Nobody prepared him for the moments, though, when he felt cold fingers brush across his phantom hand. You've been saving those since Halloween.
I've been saving those, yeah. Oh, that's good.
They celebrated the first successful cryogenic freezing. He had no way of letting them know he was still conscious.
Oh, fucking A. That's not the right one, but just imagine that's something scary, folks.
Let's see. There was a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone.
Whoa. That's not really scary either. I'm out of scary ones.
Yeah, you're definitely not scary. Let's see.
That's a scary horse. You can't see it. Oh, read the one by anonymous PBC.
No, hang on. You get home tired after a long day's work and ready for a relaxing night alone. You reach for the light switch, but another hand is already there.
Oh, come on!
It's horrible. This is one of my favorite ones because
Okay.
it's just creepy as hell. My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help.
Oh. I have some pretty fucking scary sounds on here.
Let's see.
That was a short story. A cow robbed a place.
Oh, okay.
That's what I got. All right.
My wife woke me up last night to tell me there was an intruder in our house. She was murdered by an intruder 2 years ago.
See, that works there. Every other time I've used that clown laugh, it doesn't work.
I was having a pleasant dream that when what sounded like hammering woke me up. After that, I could barely hear the muffled sound of dirt covering the coffin over my own screams.
Bummer.
This is just a challenge for me to find a good sound effect. All right.
After working a hard day, I came home to see my girlfriend cradling our child. I didn't know which was more frightening, seeing my dead girlfriend and stillborn child, or knowing that someone broke into my apartment to place them there.
I don't know. I'm not a scary one, so I'm just using the Rasta horn. I'm just doing ones that I haven't used in a while.
I'm a fire in my laser.
What the hell?
I don't know. A lot of these are from the depths of the deep internet, so, you know.
I can't sleep, she whispered, crawling into bed with me. I woke up cold, clutching the dress she was buried in.
Kiss my butt.
All right. I think we got... Okay, one more, and we'll move on to the
Let's see.
shit you should know.
I always thought my cat had a staring problem. She always seemed fixated on my face. Until one day when I realized she was always looking just behind me.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, those are some creepy stories. I'll tell you what, folks, if you have some creepy 1 or 2 sentence stories, short enough for a tweet, remember, that's at samuraisayspod.com. Or duck. Shit. No, it isn't.
Read the mail! Read the mail! Read the mail!
We'll use that when we start getting emailed. Yeah, Jeff.
From our one fan.
No, it's at samuraisayspod, I believe. I hope that's what it is. Unless I've been
Maybe
giving
you should write it down.
No, I know it. Here, let me see.
I need another drink.
I just want to verify that I've been giving you the right. Hold on.
Is this your idea of fun, man?
Yeah, at Samurai Says Pod. So yeah, that's the pod address, and there's a picture of me with Doctor Who on there. So anyway, all right, shit you shouldn't know, and then we'll end the world, and then I guess that's the show. But anyway, okay, shit you shouldn't know. Here's some car features, Chris, from back in the day. Now, car companies have been a little bit wacky trying to keep ahead of each other. For example, my car, which is a 90 Cadillac Seville, has a very rare item on it, which, not a rare item, but a lot of cars don't have this anymore, is the driver information computer system, which is like the little LED readout near the bottom of the dash, and you can hit buttons and figure out your gas mileage. And
Yeah, mine's got it up where I can actually see it.
Yeah. This is back in the day when that was a brand new and spectacular idea. And, yeah, there it is.
I'm just going to go get a drink.
Yeah, can you refill my water? Sure. Also, there's another one, Chris. This is an odd one.
No, it isn't.
They're all odd ones. They're all odd. A Cyclops light was a center light that was turned at the same time that the steering wheel was turned. And the idea is when you're going around a curve in the road, the Cyclops light turned like a spotlight to focus on where you were. And it was pretty damned amazing.
I think BMW used that.
BMW had it. The Edsel had it. It didn't work very well. It was like a good idea that didn't work. Pause. Yeah, the Cyclops light is what they call it. And it was weird. Because it meant you had 3 headlights with one in the middle.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. There was also, on some models of the Duesenberg, there was actually a cigarette lighter, or not just a cigarette lighter, it was a cigarette carrying case. A lot of places had a lot of cars had cigarette holders back then. Because everybody smoked in the 40s. Everybody smoked, drank, and spanked their secretaries behind closed door. There you go. We still... sexual harassment. No, anyway. Nowadays, we're a much more progressive society where women are allowed to spank their male secretaries.
Absolutely.
I'm fine with that. No, but back then, everybody smoked. So you don't want to fumble around with a cigarette lighter while you're driving, Chris.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, you got to hold your gin with one hand. How are you going to light a cigarette?
Right.
So what they did was they had a cigarette holder that when it dispensed the cigarette, it was already lit.
Sweet.
Which caused a couple of fires, and that's why they don't have that feature in a lot of cars anymore. It was the Duesenbergs. Am I saying it right?
I have no idea. I've never seen the car.
The Ducey. It was a brand name of car. It was the one that Groucho Marx was always talking about.
I don't remember.
But it was Duesenberg, something like that. That's at Samurai Says Pod. Just tell me what I'm doing wrong. Anyway.
But make it short. We don't have all day.
Yeah. Well, it's only 144 characters on Twitter. That means we can't get like paragraph-long complaints. I love it on there.
No, they just put another one in.
Yeah. Lincoln Continentals. Speaking of holding a gin while you're driving, Lincoln Continentals had a full bar inside the dashboard.
Sweet.
Drinking and driving was just, I guess, not a big deal back then. Of course, cars didn't have seatbelts either.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonder that we all survived into the 21st century. But they did have several glasses, a jigger, and a place for bottles.
Nice.
Inside the
And
dashboard.
boxes.
And it was chilled. And that's the amazing thing. It was actually very convenient. Needless to say, that's not a popular feature anymore.
No, I'd say that's probably not.
Not in the front seat, anyway. You know, DUI. Anyway, rotary engine. Now, this is actually an engine that you know something about.
Very little, but Mazda
Yeah.
did some incredible things with the rotary engine in the RX-7s.
Leave it to the Japanese. Yeah. Basically, it was...
Their advantage was that they could create huge amounts. They could create decent amounts of horsepower at extremely high RPMs.
Yeah. And it was...
But everyone I've ever heard talk about working on it says they're a bitch to work on.
Yeah, they're a pain in the butt. Well, it was the entire engine spun, didn't it?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Yeah, rotary engines go back to the First World War.
Yeah, they used them in airplanes.
And they were horribly unreliable.
Somebody thought it was a good idea to have them in a car. And there was also turbine-powered cars, briefly.
Mm-hmm.
It would run on any flammable liquid, and yes, they did run it on whiskey.
The problem was it had no acceleration worth a damn.
Yeah, turbines are not good at acceleration. They do turn out a lot of torque. That's why we still use turbines in Abrams tanks.
Mm. Well, those are turbo diesels.
Let's see. Also, my brother wanted me to mention this because he just thinks it's the weirdest feature of a car ever. But on rally cars, it's standard issue, which is little wipers for the headlights.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Mercedes have those for some ungodly reason.
Saabs have them. You sob because they're so ugly.
I can't figure out why the average Mercedes needs wipers on the headlights.
Yeah. If it's an off-road vehicle where you're going to be driving through mud a lot, I think those are actually a very good idea.
Right.
But for I'd like to have some on a truck because, man, you drive through the dust in the desert and stuff. You need to turn your windshield wipers on so you can see out the windshield. But nothing like that for your headlights. So at night you actually have to get out with a squeegee and wash them off every couple of miles. So yeah, that'd be a handy thing to have on trucks. But again, generally only Saabs and some Mazdas have them standard. And I think the Suzuki Samurai had them. By all rights, I should drive a Suzuki Samurai. I can get a used one, but they're junk. I mean, they're not really good cars. But if anybody out there owns a Suzuki Samurai that they want to donate to the show.
For free.
Yeah, I'll get you a t-shirt. At least. Or maybe we'll get you on the chili list.
We can put them on the chili list.
Now, is it that is it 100 including the people that have already had it? Or 100 more?
No, it's only the 100.
Oh, okay, so wait. Now we need to figure out who's had it already.
It's probably less than 12.
It's probably less than 12. You, me, Holly, Luke,
Keith,
my brother Danny. That's probably it.
I think there's a few people at work, but yeah. It's under 20.
Well, so we'll just say it's at 20. So, 80. Only 80 people, which is probably larger than our whole listening audience. Probably. No, actually, no, we got more people than that. I don't know what the iTunes numbers are, but at least on Podbean, we're pretty big. But not pretty big, not big as that stupid World of Warcraft show. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. I know you listen to my show. I just don't play World of Warcraft. But no, you can be part of the 80 if you get me a Suzuki Samurai. It has to run.
And then you have to drive to here, which we're not going to tell you where we are.
No. No, well, you get me on Twitter or Facebook, and Samurai says...
No. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to guarantee any chili to people that on Twitter.
If they give me a free car, I have to receive the car.
Okay, so they have to drive the car here.
They have to get in touch with me. They have to send me photo evidence that the car exists.
And then drive the car here.
Yeah, and I'll give them a ride to the bus station or wherever they're from. Generally, Ohio area is acceptable, but hey, wherever you are, if you want that car, I know most of our listeners are Ohio listeners. Yeah, if you want to be part of the last 80 to have Chris's chili before the world ends, you have to get that car. That's the first task. We'll come up with others later, equally as ridiculous as impossible. And you have to have the title too. I'm not going to the title office. And I'll even get you a bus ticket home if you're from out of state. Bus ticket or Amtrak ticket. I got an Amtrak discount I'm working on. But anyway, yeah, you do that. And Suzuki Samurai. I don't care what year. It has to be running. I don't care if it's the original engine. I know a lot of people take those out and put like Harley knuckleheads in them and stuff. I don't care if it's not the original engine, as long as it runs and it's not like a rusted out shitbox. Well, no. It can be a rusted out shitbox. They all are. It's a 20-year-old Suzuki. I mean, how nice is it going to be? But anyway, yeah. So, the other one I wanted to bring up was the highway Wi-Fi. Pardon me. Actually, a lot of Greyhound buses have Wi-Fi now, but no. Which is funny because if you tail them close enough, you can get in on it. But don't do that, folks. No, the Highway Hi-Fi. An actual hi-fi record player in the dash. It exists, Chris. It only played 45s, mind you.
Right, well, 33s would be a little large.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room in there. But they did, and reputably, you could go over bumps, and it would still play.
Nice.
Because it was actually like inside, and it was double-walled, and I imagine going over bumps would skip because my brother, he'd be driving his car listening to a CD and go over a bump and it would skip.
Right.
I remember him making the joke, you could, we would barely hit, a pebble on the road and then it would skip, whatever CD he was listening to, probably Skillet, would skip. My brother loves Skillet.
You could never tell the difference.
And then you could go through a pothole that's big enough to, absorb the car.
And it wouldn't.
And it wouldn't skip. And Danny, one day is, wigging out about it. And he goes, I could drive this car off a cliff and it wouldn't skip. And I just imagine this commercial for the CD player. Where,
do not try this at home. Professional driver.
Do not attempt professional driver. Where a guy's actually, driving off a coastal road and he's, flying off into the ocean. He's listening to the radio. He's like, it still won't skip. Hits the water. And it's like, Philips CDI. It never skips, It's that would be the most awesome commercial.
Okay, do you remember the commercial with the Jeep Liberty driving up into the volcano?
Yes.
Now I distinctly recall 3 separate commercials. They were all the same commercial, but they modified it 3 times because of lawyers.
Yes.
Now the first time was normal, professional driver.
Do not attempt.
Yeah. Okay. Or no, it wasn't even that. It was just a professional driver.
Yes.
Okay? And then, of course, the Liberty goes up in the volcano, gets blasted out, lands.
Yeah.
The next iteration says, professional driver on closed course. The third iteration was the one that had professional driver on closed course, do not attempt.
Yes.
Or no, it didn't even have the professional driver. It just said, do not attempt.
Somebody sent me a picture of the commercial where they give Godzilla Doritos and then Godzilla's cool or something. I think it was Doritos. It was something. It was a commercial where he's just grumpy because he's hungry and then they give him something and then he's cool. And there's a scene where they're riding 4-wheelers and Godzilla's also riding a 4-wheeler with them, which doesn't make any sense because he's huge. But anyway, and it says at the bottom, "Do not attempt." And I'm thinking, if I want to ride a 4-wheeler with Godzilla, you can't fucking stop me, okay? I'm gonna do it. And what's so dangerous about that?
I was struck by the stupidity of the commercial and the fact that the lawyer, that somebody
Yes.
would actually threaten to sue over this
because
probably they were probably threatening to drive their liberty into a volcano just to see if it would work that way,
just to sue them.
just so that their family could get money. It's like really have we sunk so far as a society that this is a problem? It's like the
Are we really
it's like the
worried?
chainsaw label. Do not stop chain with blade with hand or genitals.
Do not attempt to stop blade with hands or genitals. Now, what kills me about that warning, I don't know if I've talked about this on the show or not, but not only does that mean that somebody attempted to stop a chainsaw with their genitals, it also means that they had the gall to sue afterwards. As in, nobody told me not to stop this chainsaw with my testicles. And then I just got to imagine the guy who just chopped the hell out of his hands trying to stop this chainsaw, and then he goes, I know what'll stop it, and and then jams it into his groin. It's like, what are we I don't know. There's got to be an interesting story behind that label, is all I'm saying. But in any case, we're running on. We gotta end the world.
Okay, end the world.
And then we got to do really bad advice, and then we say goodnight. Today on the end of the world, and we like to end the world every week pretty consistently here on Samurai Says. There are many people on the internet, and those many people have a lot of good ideas about how the world might end, and they're all correct, Chris. Now, this one actually is correct. So
okay.
Prepare Uranus. It's time for the end of the world. That's right. The world is ending. Isn't that the sound when you drop the nuke on the?
I think so.
Yeah, in Half-Life. But anyway, this one that is actually happening. Like usually, I'm making a joke about it actually happening, but scientists are pretty sure that this is the way that not just the Earth will end, but everything will end. It's called the heat death of the universe.
All right.
Now, it's similar to the Big Crunch. I'm probably going to get this completely wrong. So, physics people, feel free to tear me a new one. I'm just going to say what I know about it. Now, there's a couple of theories about how the universe will end. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I still haven't forgiven that man for what he's done to Pluto, but he's pretty smart. He believes that it's going to be a cold death. Basically, the universe will eventually run out of energy, and there will be no molecular movement, and absolute zero will overcome the entire universe.
That's a bit pessimistic.
Yeah, it's kind of a boring end, too. So I prefer the heat death of the universe, which is that energy levels as the... it's similar to the Big Crunch, but basically energy levels will continue to increase as the universe starts to collapse in on itself.
Right.
This is the great attractor. I told you it was going to end the universe, and it still has the nerve not to show up and face me. But in any case... oh, there it is now. But... Basically, as everything's drawn towards the great attractor, energy levels will increase and increase until we reach what is known as the Planck point of heat. Now, the interesting thing about this one, if I'm getting everything correct, and I think I am, is you know how when things get hotter, Chris, the frequency gets lower and lower, lower and lower, or higher.
Yeah, frequency gets higher, yeah.
Yeah. Now, eventually... the frequency, and I can't remember the exact number, but it's a pretty big number. It's up in the septillions or something like that of heat.
Something resembling Planck's constant, perhaps?
Well, it'll get up to the Planck length, the frequency. In other words, it can't get any closer. But it's completely theoretically possible to feed more energy into a closed system. There is, like absolute zero, you can't withdraw all energy out. Because, basically you have the minimum vacuum energy, the background energy of the universe, basically. But you can increase energy as much as you damn well please. It's always going to go somewhere. So once the energy reaches that point where it's a Planck length, the universe will end, but no one is sure exactly how. A lot of people believe it will cause what's known as a Kugelblitz.
Gesundheit.
Which is an instantaneous black hole based on immeasurable energy. Basically, the entire universe will become a black hole.
I'm not sure if I buy that.
It's the heat death of the universe, man.
Because that would mean that a black hole would have to exist beyond the universe.
Well, sort of, kind of, maybe. I mean, it's confusing because... basically, it's impossible for anything to get hotter than than that level where the frequency reaches the minimum of a Planck length, or Planck's distance. It can't get any hotter, but it can. It would be hotter than any possible energy thing. So basically, we're dealing with like near infinite levels of energy, and basically, it'd be. I mean, everything would become kind of a quagma. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Not really. You don't know what I mean.
No, because I don't know what the hell a quagmire is.
Oh, a quagma is the state of matter during the Big Bang, before actual matter came into being. It's basically like kind of a soup of just primordial subatomic particles. We would go back to that. And that's what a lot of people believe is going to be the death of the universe. Now, the good part of this, Chris, is we're talking about quadrillions of years in the future.
Right.
So we're probably not going to have to worry about it.
I don't plan on living that long.
Yeah. Unless you're a Scientologist, which, again, they believe that, technically the Christian philosophy believes that everything will be completely immortal, but we won't exactly be in this universe, so what are you worried about? I don't know if this one really worries me, but I think it's a better end of the universe than heat death or the Big Crunch.
Right.
The Big Crunch is just the Big Bang over and over again, and it's freaking boring. I mean, But, the Earth would be atomized at this point, but assuming human beings are floating around in space or something, evolved into pure energy, we'd still be fucked.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. On the level of being afraid of it, unless we discover immortality, it'll be like a 2 for me.
Yeah, not even a 1 for me. Like a 0.8.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to end the universe, though. It's one of my favorite theories. Big Crunch is too
We all
boring.
become one big glorious hole.
Yeah. You already are one big glorious hole. Yeah, no, I like it. Just because DeGrasse Tyson, he believes in the cold death of the universe, and that's boring. Just all energy will stop. Give me a break. Basically, as long as you throw a quarter at somebody, there'll still be energy going somewhere. It's confusing, but yeah, heat death of the universe. All right. Let's move on to really bad advice.
What's today's bad advice?
Oh, Chris. Basically, I watched a football game today. Well, we already mentioned that in the opening chat up. It was Houston Texans, which is the most unoriginal name ever, versus the Browns. And, I like watching football. I have nothing against it. However, there's no guarantee that a football game is going to be exciting.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no guarantee.
I mean, it's not nearly as bad as watching like a NASCAR race at Daytona or something now with restrictor plates where they just go around in circles and wait for the big one to happen.
Yeah. There's always going to be something going on in a football game, but it can get kind of, standard in and out. Now,
samey.
Yeah, very samey. And basically, they tried to do the XFL. Vince McMahon tried to do the XFL. It failed miserably.
Yes, it did.
Because it was still football. As Chris Rock so eloquently put it, if it's 4th and 9, you punt. It's fucking football. It's the same thing, and you can't do the same thing and compete with the NFL. Vince, you gave us WWF. By extension, WWE. You got that's like a perfect show. Why couldn't you make football more exciting? I know everybody's like, well, it's got to be a competition. It's also got to be fucking entertaining. So here's my idea. Now, Chris, I know you're familiar, but for the listenership out there, if you're on the internet right now, I want you to Google a game called Mutant League Football.
Absolutely fun game.
Oh, yes. Go to the People at Games Continuum. Pick up a copy of it. It's based on the Madden engine, and it was made for the Genesis. Now, Mutant League Football was basically ultra-violent sci-fi football in the future. There was robots, there were skeletons, you could rig the ball
Trolls.
to explode. Yeah, the trolls, they had the fart play. Mm-hmm. They had a play where they actually farted and blew people up and dismembered them. You could kill the ref if he didn't like the calls he made.
Oh, yeah, you could bribe the ref to call against the bad guys, and the only way to stop him was to kill the ref.
Oh, yeah. Now, these are some... Now, obviously you can't have actual deaths in a football game, though...
Why not?
Basically, when the one guy got his throat cut open in the NHL and he almost died, and there was so much blood on the ice that people were throwing up and stuff like that, NHL had their largest numbers the next day. Because everybody was like, wow, I didn't know that was going on. So, morbidly, if you get to that close to death thing, you get some ratings. And, you just have people sign a really good waiver or something. You know what I mean? And it just... But
Are you kidding? They're whining about concussions in a game where you're running headlong into people that are as big as you.
yeah, did someone sit you down and say football is perfectly safe at some point? Fuck that. It should be more dangerous. Okay? You know the Vikings have that helmet that looks like there's horns on it?
Mm-hmm.
Put real fucking horns on it.
There
You
you
know,
go.
with big razor sharp pointy ends. One guy gets gored and, and each team has that, each team has a special move. The Vikings have those helmets. They could swap them out one play per game. The Browns, actually, you can release, since they're called like the dogs, have like a bunch of rabid Rottweilers that they can release onto the field at any given time. And they're trained not to bite the home team. You know what I mean? That would be cool.
Yeah, but the Bengals would have them beat.
Oh, yeah, they'd have a tiger or two that they release. The Chargers actually electrify their uniforms, so if you try to tackle them, you get zapped.
And hey, the Washington Redskins could actually have warring Indians. thrown on the
Yeah,
field.
basically have some Sioux horsemen riding with spears. Hucking spears at people. Release those guys. And then the Buccaneers have like they can have pirate swords or maybe a cannon volley at the other team, or I'm not sure what you'd have for the Steelers. I don't know. That's a tough one. The Ravens go. Since the Ravens are named after the Raven, which is
the birds.
yeah, I don't know. Releasing Ravens wouldn't be that deadly. So let's say that you could use stuff from other Edgar Allan Poe things, like have the pendulum from the Pit and the Pendulum going across the 40-yard line. Try and run past that fucker, and stuff like that. Man, there's a lot of them. New York Jets could call in an airstrike. There you go.
Airstrike standing by.
Yeah. There has to be others. I don't know what the Steelers would do. Oh no, they'd have like metal suits.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you are. And steel beams fall onto the field on the other team.
Something like that.
Yeah, and
You have a variety of stuff.
and this way, when people are killed or permanently injured, you get more people would have the opportunity to play in the NFL. There'd be like 10,000 people who are online to be in the NFL at some given time.
There you go.
Oh man, there's got to be others. I don't know what the Houston Texans would get. Cattle stampede or like that, or the Oakland Raiders would. I don't know what they'd get as. Man, that's a rough one. Some of these teams you'd have to.
You have to work on it.
Yeah, the Giants, they could have like a 9-foot tall guy with a club come out, and that'd be their running back for one player. So they don't play any position. Have to get a little genetic engineering on that. But I think that would make things a little bit more interesting. You know what I mean?
I've always thought landmines and snipers in the stands.
There you go. Yeah, the guys who have the boxes at the games who spend millions of dollars, have it so they can hire their own sniper. Have them help out the team a little
affect
bit.
the game.
Yeah, and they get some ex-Marine sniper who's can't hack it in real life, and he wouldn't have to go for a lethal shot. He could take out a kneecap or so you don't have to kill people. This is where the Steelers would have the advantage with the metal
Right.
suit. The sniper's bullets would just be ping, 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 and and then have it be at the Super Bowl. Take the Mayan route, and the losing team gets killed. Yeah, just firing squad, right? They always have the military there anyway.
Right.
Support our troops and all that. Have a firing squad ready, and it'd be very emotional too. They'd say goodbye to their families and then up against the wall. It'd be horrible, yeah. But I mean, it'd be
And
like
this, folks, this is why this is really bad advice.
yeah. Well, this is why in the NBA everybody says you see a lot of people in the NBA especially who are like, well, I'm already a millionaire. I'm at the top of my game. You can't go anywhere from here. So let's just dribble, shoot, blah, blah, blah. You don't see a lot of passion in the NBA sometimes. This is why a lot of people suggest you should only get paid if you win. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, or in this case, if you lose, you get killed. You'd see a lot of passion in that, And some people wouldn't want to get to the Super Bowl, it'd be like, oops, I dropped the pass, It's like, oh, I lost the NFC Championship again, but nobody wants to go to the death game. But you could die anyway with rabid dogs.
In 3 weeks, 2 teams will be forced to go to the Super Bowl.
They're like in paddy wagons and vans with metal mesh over the windows.
So what's different from now?
Oh, well, true. We're not talking about the NBA here. The Portland Jailblazers, but no. I'm in agreement with that. That the not so much that the winner. I mean, on a serious note, I don't believe the losers should die, but I mean, I do believe that winners should.
Winners should be the ones getting paid.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, if you got like 15 baby mamas you got to feed, and the babies, and like supermodel girlfriends that need expensive jewelry and stuff. It's
What would you little maniacs like to do first?
That's the thing. All right, I think it's about time we stuck a fork in this one,
We should all be
Chris,
destroyed.
because we're forking done.
Okay.
It's time once again here on Samurai Says to sweep up the broken glass, teeth, and entrails and wring out my socks into the toilet. And remind you all, you're someone special too. This week's song is Winter by Jackalap off the Tombstone Remix album. This is the Tombstone Remix as it is. Go to iTunes, buy that. And until next time, cats and kittens, ladies and gentlemen,
Goodbye.
goodbye. The Samurai has spoken.
form a wedge.
Shrubby bacon! See you next week, folks.
Bye.